Guys, the energy is so intense. I literally feel like I just stuck my finger into a light socket. I've been like, I hadn't worked out since March when they started the lockdowns, and I closed my gym membership, and I had to start working out again just to channel the energy. Otherwise, it's overwhelming, and then it kind of turns into that anxious energy that's like floating around in the collective right now. That like, it's so, the energy is so thick. It's like so much tension. And it's because a lot of people are sitting in a place that they're not very familiar with. Um, I happen to be very familiar with that place because throughout my life, I've manifested those circumstances in the timelines that I've chose. Okay, and that tension is like, I wrote down some notes because I want to make sure that I really get what source wanted me to come through with. And what I wrote down when it comes to that, it's like a limbo phase right before like a huge leveling up or a huge manifestation or something big, a big change, but a change for the good, a change because you're in this space of the unknown. And in that space is where your faith is truly tested, right? It's like the the place to understand whether your faith is on point or you're sitting in fear, you're sitting in doubt, you're sitting in this space, like these lower vibrational energies that aren't going to bring you through that limbo phase to the other side, right? So in every moment, you're choosing what frequency you want to vibe on. So are you sitting in fear because you're afraid that the election isn't going to turn out how your ego wants it to, right? Because at the end of the day, whether your intentions are, you know, good or not, if you're attached to an expectation, you're imprisoning yourself, you're imprisoning your mental, you're not allowing yourself to have that faith that everything is always working out for you. Everything that happens is a gift. How can I see it from the most highest perspective? What is this teaching me? And that's where mastery really is, because you get in this place where you're like, it really doesn't matter who wins, because my 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 faith, my intuition, my connection to source tells me that everything is going to happen in a divine way. Everything's always working out for me. And this is what this is the type of energy you need to bring yourself into in order to come out on the other side, in a really positive place, in a place where you just manifested something because you took that risk. You weren't afraid to make a change. And this isn't just about the election. This isn't just about the mass energies, because individually we're all feeling the same thing. All that tension you feel because you're wondering who's going to win the election, that's happening for you on an individual level, with the issues that you're going through in your own life, and the energies you're working with in your own life, and the issues and the shadows that you refuse to look at, and the changes that you refuse to make. You've always believed the same things. You've always operated in your life in the same ways. And what does that stagnancy tell us about ourselves? It just tells us that we're stuck. We're stuck in an old energy. We refuse to change. Ultimately, the reason we incarnated here is for growth, is for change. Every relationship you've ever been in, whether it's with family or a significant other or someone that you work with, is an opportunity to grow. We work with different energies and interact with different people and different energies in order to look at life in a different way and see it in a different perspective. And once you're able to look at life in so many different perspectives, that it doesn't really matter what you choose. You know what is for you. You know what is divine. You don't have to sit here and ask people how to think or how to believe or what to think or how to behave in your life. Or you don't want advice from other people, because guess what? How could the advice from somebody else be for you when it didn't come from you? It didn't come from your connection to source. You don't fit in a box with everyone else. You have your own box. You create your own box. You don't even have to be in a box. How limiting does it sound to even say I fit into a box? There is nothing about authenticity that is, I believe, exactly the way somebody else believes. No authentic person believes exactly the way another person believes. That is not being authentic. And when you refuse to change and you refuse to actually like dig and search and go within yourself for what feels like truth for you, you will always be a slave to cognitive dissonance, to being mind controlled by whatever. Whether it's the media, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, whether it's somebody, if somebody looks at you a certain way because you are standing up for something that you believe in, or you have a voice. Most people are afraid to even say how they feel about how they're gonna vote, or what they're gonna do, making a scary change in their life. Why? They're afraid of that confrontation. We're sitting right now in this limbo phase that we're in. They're afraid of facing their shadows. They're afraid of admitting that maybe they were wrong about something. We're always wrong about something. We're never completely perfect. You can't know everything in every moment. And people look at me and they're like, what? Kelsey's voting for Trump? How could she possibly vote for Trump? Because if you look at my past, I was literally a social justice warrior who went to college and majored in history and focused in my focus in college was the history of minorities in America. My kids are Black and Hispanic. Okay? Like, I care. I was freaking about Black Lives Matter before I understood what it really was all about. Because guess what? I'm for truth. I'm not about being part of some club. This isn't about that. This is about finding out what the truth is and standing for that. And your truth is going to be different than somebody else's truth because they're in a different place on their path, just like you are. Just like I used to be an atheist and now spirit speaks through me. Because I was never afraid to change my mind when I was presented with something that resonated with my soul a little bit more than what used to. And if you don't change, you don't grow. And that's what we're here to do. So you can sit there and believe everything that's spoon-fed to you. You can be a slave to somebody telling you how to think and who to be. Or you can dig deep. You can literally take advice from nobody. Form your own opinions. In our school systems, we're taught how to think. We're taught how to behave. We're bred to say our bodies don't know when to tell us to wake up in the morning. We wake up at 6 or 7 or whatever time we have to be to go to the fucking factories and be slaves. Why are we not questioning these things? Why are we just literally accepting this bullshit of a slave life? We are all slaves, even in America. And they have you brainwashed into thinking that this is how we're supposed to live. That we're supposed to literally live majority of our lives dreading Mondays because we got to go to school or work. If your soul doesn't resonate with that shit, that's not how your life is supposed to be lived. It's not. It's really not. And let me get to my little notes because there were some other things I wanted to say too. I just got on a little rant. And this is the thing about the election, okay? Trump can't expose these people till after the election. And I mentioned this before. Because it looks like he's using it as leverage to win the election. So that's why I've been literally waiting for this election to be over. So all the truth can come out. And it doesn't look like Trump is trying to use the truth as leverage to win the election. He doesn't need that. There's enough people that know, okay? There's enough people that know. There's a lot of minorities that voted for Trump, no matter what the mainstream media tells you, okay? It's the facts. Anyways, okay. So, yeah, I had stats and all this shit that I pulled out and I was going to bring to you guys about the voter fraud. But you know what? I don't even need to do that. Like, if you literally are so lazy that you're just going to believe everything you see on TV and not actually go to these like Michigan's website and actually look what they've reported and how it's different from what you see on the news, Fox News, all of them. They're all trash. All mainstream media is trash. Don't worry, you'll see them in court soon and they're going to be gone. This is the death of the mainstream media. Okay? God damn. And if you can't see how COVID is just a way to control people and it's a bunch of bullshit, I'm not saying people didn't get sick, but I am telling you that 99.9999% of those people survived. And the ones that didn't, it was because most of them got the opposite of the treatment that they were supposed to get in the hospitals. So stop with the fear porn. Side note, Pennsylvania wants Trump. I didn't even have to wear a fucking mask when I went to the polls. Sorry, I have to rant a little bit because it's getting old. I'm over it. I'm over all the bullshit. Stop trying to control people. We want to be free. Period. All right. Yeah, and I said, you really think that all of us light workers came here to fucking, to expose this darkness, expose this truth, all for Trump to lose? Get out of here, guys. I have always been that person, like when I played basketball in high school and college, that was like the hype person, right? More so in high school, because I was like team captain. In college, I blew it and I quit. So it was like a different experience. And I literally couldn't handle the energies because I had too much emotional damage from my childhood to be able to handle like the responsibility of being who I needed to be as an athlete. But anyways, in high school, I was always like that hype man, that person that was like, oh my gosh, everybody's feeling really anxious because this is the championship game and we can't even fucking sleep the night before. But I would come through and alchemize that anxiety and literally bring humor into it, start hyping people up, getting people to move their bodies around and move that energy around and stop letting it get stuck so you get in the game and you freeze, right? And we're in that space right now with the election. Guys, why the fuck are you watching the mainstream media? I hate when people say, I don't believe the mainstream media and it's bullshit, and they'll sit there and agree with you, right? But then everything, all their mind control and all their cognitive dissonance comes from the mainstream media, and the way that they behave comes from the mainstream media. It makes no sense. Okay. Yeah, this is the deepest, darkest shit. It's like right before the explosion of unexpected abundance and growth, you see the deepest, darkest, nastiest, the scum that just comes up from the bottom. Because you're finally there. You clean the whole pool out, and now you got that grind, like nasty shit that comes up, right? Right before you see this beautiful product. And that's what's happening right now. And why I'm talking about being like the hype man before a big game is because somebody's got to come in and be like, guys, wake up. We didn't come this far for nothing. The truth is here. The light will win. Love wins. Love always wins. This is it. This is the Great Awakening. This is all the history books talk about. All the ancients talk about this time. The Mayans, everybody talked about this time. Revelation in the Bible. And if you guys can't feel that energy in the air, it's because you got your fucking head in the sand. And you're afraid. You're afraid to have a voice. If you're afraid to have a voice, it's because you have energy stuck inside you. You probably been coming from the same place, that same vibrational frequency for a very long time. And that's okay. That's where you're at. But at some point, you got to recognize it and grow. And it might not even be in this lifetime. You might be that stubborn that it won't happen in this lifetime. And that sucks for you because now you got to go all the way back, forget, but you already still ain't woke up. So you still done forgot and start all over again. Why do you want to start all over again? Dig down deep inside, grab a little courage. It's in there. I promise you it's in there. And fucking make some ballsy moves in your life. Make some changes that sit right with your soul, not everyone around you, not your family, not your friends, not your political group that you affiliate with. You are not a group. You're an individual. So be one. I love you guys.